We're recording. Get up.
Very precarious.
She's blowing me right now. That's a podcast intro.
Oh, yeah.
Whoop, whoop. I like the way you pray.
Oh, God. Barf.
Yeah, barf. We got a really cool episode. We are going to talk about the midterm elections today, and they're still going on somehow.
Still. Full week later.
Yep.
Full week later.
That's because there is a blind nun counting the votes in Nevada and Arizona, according to Ben Shapiro.
There's a...
Wait, for real? Is it actually a nun, or is he joking?
He's obviously joking.
Oh, okay. I thought he was... Okay.
Who knows? Honestly, I would believe the results more from a blind nun than just the Dominion voting system. So I trust that count more.
Yeah.
At least a blind nun can't tell, can't discriminate. Well, I guess, yeah, she can't because she's counting them. Just kidding.
And she's blind.
I was like, she can't discriminate between Democrat and Republican.
Yeah. Just
But it's Braille, so she can probably feel it.
throwing out the Republican ballots.
Anywho.
Any ballot that feels Republican is instantly burned.
This one feels like an ultra MAGA.
Right.
It just smells of hard work.
Okay,
and
this is
sweat.
already...
Sorry.
Let's start the show. Hello and welcome to the Strive Nation podcast, the podcast where we talk about the monotony of daily life. But hey, that's okay because sometimes that's exactly what you need in this crazy world. My name is Cory Estreen, and always I'm joined with my constant co-host, Taylor Huff. How are you doing tonight, Taylor?
I am fan-flippin'-tastic.
Flippin'.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Thank
so
you.
yeah, we are talking about the elections. But what are you drinking?
I'm drinking. I'm going to get worse as this episode goes on. I'm drinking a keto pre-workout because I'm going to the gym after we record.
Woo!
Yeah.
Get it.
Little blender bottle action. What are you drinking?
I kind of already finished it. I'm supposed to go get... Pause the show. Go get a drink while I go get my drink because I left it in the fridge. But yes, go get a Beveragino. All right, I'm back, baby, with a neon cowboy.
What flavor is that?
Listen to the pop.
Ooh, that was crispy.
Yeah, it is the watermelon aqua
Ooh.
fresca.
Can I try it?
Yes, of course. Let me try first, though, because I'm more important. All right.
That's good.
Kind of tastes like watermelon, but like some sort of weird cucumber or something.
You are right.
Yeah, it's good. It's refreshing.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tastes like watermelon and cucumber juice.
Yeah.
A watermelon with a very intense spa water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Do you want to try mine?
Yeah, might as well. Let's do it.
The flavor is heart tart.
Oh, it's good.
Do I know what a heart tart is? No.
I can definitely taste the tart, though.
It is tart.
Yeah. Before we start the show, make sure that you go right now and follow on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Strive Nation Pod for all the coolest content on the internet. And for you visual people, head over to YouTube and smash the subscribe button and like every video to show that you care. But first,
Upvotes and downvotes.
what is your upvote?
My upvote is part of my job is doing lots of party planning for the company. And right now I'm in the thick of holiday party planning. And it's so much fun. I freaking love my job.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
At least someone does.
I
Just kidding.
never in a million years did I think my job would involve putting together hors d'oeuvre menus and picking out furniture and wrapping paper.
There you
and
go.
Going shopping all the time. I love it.
Very nice.
Yeah. What's your upvote?
My upvote is that I'm back to working out.
Urgh.
And I'm feeling thick AF.
You look thick.
Do I?
Yeah. You got a nice pump going on.
Yeah.
Your
good.
chest is
Thick.
it is very thick. Do you do some...
I did, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can tell.
Oh, really?
I can.
Yeah, I was feeling self-conscious, and then another man walked in.
And then you didn't feel self-conscious?
Wait, I worded that wrong.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
What is your downvote?
My downvote is that daylight savings happened, and now it gets dark at 4 p.m., which is freaking baloney, because I leave work and it's dark out. And it's freezing. It was like 30-something degrees today, and I'm not ready for that. I need to be back at like 65.
I don't know. It's like some cold front, but it's not just us. It's the rest of the country too, because I looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the places you think would be really warm are really cold right now.
I know. I'm just going to blame it on daylight savings.
Okay.
Because I don't think we should have daylight savings. I think it's freaking stupid.
What
is the
you
point
have
of
to.
it?
What is the point of it?
Yeah.
You have to because the days are shorter. Like the time, it's daylight savings, get it? And so, for example, like you would be getting up. How do I describe this?
Because we lost an hour. So it went from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Yeah, we lost an hour because the days are shorter.
No, because Arizona doesn't do daylight savings. You don't have to do it. Like the Earth doesn't just spin magically a little bit faster and we lose an hour. It's a man-made losing.
Right, but it's because of the way, because it's the sun. It's because of how much day we have, like the actual light of day, time.
But if we left it, it would. I'm confused. Whatever. I don't like daylight savings. I don't think it should exist, and I think Arizona's onto something by not following it.
Well, obviously not, because they voted for Katie Hobbs. So
that's fair.
Fair.
Okay,
so your downvote is daylight savings. Excellent.
Yeah. What's yours?
Are you guys ready for this? This is going to be a long down low.
I'm not ready, but I am because I've heard this 5,000 times already.
No, you didn't. So I actually found out why. So yeah, FTX, which is a crypto exchange, just crashed into the dirt. In 1 week, they went from something like $3.5 billion market cap on their token down to like non-existent, literally less than 100 million. The exchange is down. It was hacked. It's basically a bunch of looters going on there trying to get whatever they can back from it. All that money is gone. The basically CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, it was a huge crypto like influencer, one of the OGs, one of the biggest public faces of crypto. He was seen doing some pretty shady stuff. What it seems to me like the reason why it happened is so Sam Bankman-Fried was taking the funds, the actual liquid, the reserve of FTX, the people's funds that they're dumping into the FTT token, right, on their exchange. When they're exchanging US dollars, when they're exchanging ETH, the actual US dollar funds, he was taking it and sending it to Almedia, which is basically a hedge fund that his girlfriend was CEO running, okay? He was sending it there, okay? And then she was taking those funds and reinvesting it back into FTT token to basically artificially inflate the price of FTT to make people think that it was doing just fine.
Wow.
With all the people's money. It was a Ponzi scheme, is what they were doing. So, anyways, they were pumping it, their own bags full of their own token that weren't backed by anything. So what happened is they got to a point where it was unsustainable. So Sam Bankman-Fried went to the basically one of the head honchos, the CEOs of Binance, which is the #1 crypto exchange.
Yeah.
Binance Smart Chain, huge crypto exchange. Like, if you're not on ETH, that's where you are. It's kind of running alongside ETH, but asked the CEO there for help to bail them out. He said he would. Okay. This is all public knowledge. Okay, so like Sam's asking the CEO is public. Okay.
Why is that public?
Huh?
Why is that public?
Because it was going to come out anyways. Because the information was of FTX struggling was going to come out like day later, whatever. It was already going to happen. Yeah. So, anyways, it went public, right? That he accepted. Okay. The Binance guy accepted, right? And then they put out that this was happening, that Binance was getting bought out or whatever that FTX was getting bought out by Binance, right?
Yeah.
So they put that out, and they thought it was going to be a good piece of news, right?
Yeah.
But crypto didn't see it that way. Crypto saw it as like some sort of FUD, like FTX is in problem, FTX is having issues.
So
Everyone take all their
right
money out.
through it.
Everyone take all your money out right now. So everyone started taking out their money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And which when they took out their money, there was no money to take out because Sam Bankman-Fried was sending it all to Alameda to reinvest in the FTT token, so there was no money. So they couldn't take out their money, all these people that were trying to take out their money at the same time.
God.
So it started a bankroll, okay? Do you know what a bankroll is?
No.
It's when all these banks and huge, large investments follow suit with each other.
Uh-huh.
It's what crashes economies. It's what happened with the housing market in 2009 and stuff.
Okay.
That's what happened here with all these hedge funds and like different firms with FTX. They wanted to take out, and all these like sponsors and everything. They started taking out all their money, but there wasn't all the money to take out, so they started realizing. So FTX halts all the withdrawals, so they're not allowed to take anything because of traffic, right? Well, to make it even
actuality, there's no money to pull.
To make it even worse, it looks like the Binance CEO knew this was going to happen. So he said he would buy it out, right?
Uh-huh.
After the crash starts, he changes his mind and says he's not going to do it anymore.
Well, obviously.
So people freak out even more and try to take everything out even more because the information was that this was happening, okay?
Yeah.
All the while that there was an audit going on of FTT, so everyone was going to find out what was happening anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out that that's what was happening is they was trying to pump his own company's token with the people's money.
Yeah.
And there was nothing to give them back when things went south. So that the Binance CEO knew about this because it was their number one competitor. He wanted them to fail and go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Which is what happened. So he knew that Sam would announce the partnership or the buyout publicly once he said yes, changed his mind so everything would crash so that they'd be the number one exchange. Like with no competition.
Holy shit. It's like the Wild West over here.
Yeah, there's more too.
Oh no.
Yeah, it is absolutely insane. So it turns out that Sam Bankman-Fried, I guess this whole thing, even though crypto is kind of the wild, wild west, you can't do this with people's money.
Oh, shocking.
So the government is after him with like all these lawsuits and things trying to find him, but he's hiding out in Argentina.
Oh, Lord.
Isn't that hilarious?
It's a very Wolf of Wall Street of him.
Right. But check this out also, okay? Sam Bankman-Fried on his Twitter announces that FTT, his company, is filing for bankruptcy. Less than 2 hours later, an onslaught of hackers hack all of the bank accounts attached to FTT, their website, FTX, and start hacking all the banks and accounts. So all these people who are linked and using all of their phones were getting these SMS messages saying, your bank or someone is requesting access to your account, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of these things, people are getting their money pulled out from like all these banks that were attached to them.
Oh my God.
So is it coincidence that that happened at the exact same time of you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot going on, like a lot of shady shit.
You seem too excited about this to be your downvote.
I mean, it's a downvote because it dropped the market cap of the crypto economy a lot, like probably a good $200 billion. It's not horrible for me because I wasn't invested in FTX at all. But obviously the assets of everything went down as it keeps going down. But it's like sometimes things like this have to weed themselves out. Bad actors have to get found out so that you can have more mature users utilize the blockchain. But like stuff like this is why people are like looking at blockchain and like crypto and going, it's not a real thing. It's this shady. It's not a real they're not real assets. All this stuff. It's like bad actors are the reasons this stuff why we're not getting adoption. So that's where the downvote comes in. I just think it's funny.
It is funny.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah. So it is absolutely crazy. So that's my the FTX crypto FUD is my downvote. Should we now after that really exciting crypto talk that no one probably understood, should we get into the midterm elections and what happened?
We really need to.
Okay. Let's do it. What do you think? How do you feel about the midterm elections? I was at home listening and watching, having multiple streams up. I had Louder Crowder on a half screen with Ben Shapiro on the other half screen with Daily Wire. They were all speaking at the same time. I had to go back and forth meeting them. I was very excited about it. How do you feel about it? How was everything on your end?
Depressing.
Yeah?
Yeah. Thought it was going to be this red wave, and then literally nothing happened.
Yeah. Do you want to describe kind of what kind of happened as the night went on?
Yes. Everyone was very optimistic at 3 p.m., and everyone was talking mad shit on the Democrats about how it's going to be this epic red wave, and Republicans are going to rule America again, and all will be well, and we're going to fix the economy. And then polls started to close, and it was like, polls started to close. Florida instantly, like, their counts were right in and won absolutely everything in Florida. So it's like, yes, it's happening. And then, like, an hour later, and it's like, oh, well, it's okay. We'll be all right. We didn't have to win all those states. And then another 30 minutes, and then another hour, and another 30 minutes, and another hour. And it just kept going down and down and down and down and down.
Yeah.
That's how the night was.
It is not the what we thought. Is not the expected result.
No.
You're expecting a red wave, and to our the expectation was coming from the polls, all the polls, left and right polls,
all the polls.
Yeah.
Every pollster needs to get fired. They're worse than the freaking weathermen.
Yeah, and
all of the pollsters were absolutely wrong.
Yeah, not just a lot wrong. Like, they were a lot wrong.
Like, epically wrong.
Yeah.
The pollsters are like, the Republicans are going to come out on top and they're going to take everything, and because of that, the Democrats are like, vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Everything came out like 50-50.
Do you think it was all part of the plan on the pollsters, because most of them run, liberal anyways?
I don't think so, because even pollsters being used by like conservative media, they were all saying red wave.
Yeah, that is so weird. You think the minority of people responding to polls are more Republican for a reason? Maybe because they're sick of the wokeness?
Maybe they're the ones to more voice their opinions at the polls.
Right now, because of the wokeness?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It was just wild. It was just not what anyone predicted. And so, because of that, I got home at 1 a.m., tired and depressed. And then I woke up and went back to work at 8 a.m. and was underwhelmed.
Yeah, the red wave, what we thought could possibly be a red tsunami, was more like a trickle of like red driplets.
Red dust.
Red dust, evaporated, nothing.
Freaking red
yes,
dust.
Barely, not even a majority, like more like a 50-50 dead even. So, yeah, we're going to talk about some of the reasons why. So, we want to speak a little bit about the culture war versus the legislative part of it.
I think this was a huge thing. I think this is a huge reason that Republicans lost, was the left, and this has always been a thing. We just forget about it every 4 years, and then we keep repeating instead of like learning from the left. Left always goes after culture and the culture war and the story of how this is going to affect you at home, right? They're very good at it. Like talking about, like, this is what you talk about at your kitchen table, vote like your life depends on it, vote because people are going to take away your body autonomy and your rights. And like, they have a very good narrative.
Well,
right?
that's because they run everything through feeling.
It's feeling and it's fear mongering.
Right.
So because everything's ran through feeling, you're more inclined to vote that way. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want my rights taken away. I'm going to vote Democrat because that's what every celebrity tells me to do and every mainstream media. So people who don't follow politics, like, that's just what happens to them. Versus Republicans are always very legislative forward. So they're like, our economy is down. We're in a recession. We need to do A, B, and C to get our economy back up and running. We want to lower gas prices. This is how we can do so. Because they're putting... and that's how conservative thinkers are, right? Like, we want to fix all the problems. So conservatives are telling you, this is how I'm going to fix all your problems, without really acknowledging how the problem is affecting you.
Right. Do you think
beyond a dollar point?
Do you think a big part of it is just Republicans or conservatives are just not very good at marketing themselves?
Oh, we're terrible at marketing ourselves.
Versus Democrats are very good at marketing with nothing behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, and again, it goes back to the differences between people who are liberal and the people who are conservative. Liberals are big ideas. Conservative thinkers are, how can I put this plan in action? So liberals have these big ideas full of emotion and feeling, and this is what we stand for. Conservatives are logic-based. Here's the stats. I want to fix it by doing this. Like, we're just terrible at marketing. We're not the big idea people.
Well, it's kind of like certain things. It's like conservatives, are much more logical thinking, right?
Yeah.
They really like facts. They like statistics. But a lot of time that doesn't hit home for people.
It doesn't.
Even if it's true. If you can speak to them through feeling, even if it's not true, they're going to be moved.
Exactly.
Right? It's the same thing like the medium of music. Like, you can touch people through music a lot easier than other things. That's kind of the way feelings are when it comes to these things.
I think a great example of this is DeSantis. He didn't just run on legislation. He fought the culture war, and he was like, I'm here to protect your children. We're going to protect your children by making sure CRT isn't in school. We want to protect your children so that they grow up with you and loving family. We want to protect, your safety because we handled COVID properly. His messaging, like, he's amazing at marketing himself, but he's playing into the feeling. He's playing into very similar where Trump marketed himself as Make America Great Again. That's a great slogan to get behind, It's hard to disagree with that. And Trump talked about it from a cultural standpoint. Our culture is failing us. We have, more single mothers than we ever had. We've got kids in all these situations. DeSantis talks the same way. And that's why he's so successful, is because he's not only hitting like the legislative aspect of it by passing all these laws and bills, but he is also speaking to them like as a parent, as a kid growing up, as the waitress that lost her job for 2 years because of COVID.
Yeah, and it's not all these one-liners. Every time he talks about it, he appears more genuine, which is why people like him.
He's super genuine about it. And I mean, it helps that he has, the past 2 years to really back him up on how amazing he's been.
Right.
But even just looking at it from that standpoint, he talks feelings and it works. Like, that Democrats are just so much better at it.
Yeah, and that's a big part. We saw that many of the Trump appointed like candidates for both the Senate and House, pretty much all of them lost.
Yeah.
So whether that's I don't know if it's because people are sick of Trump or because they're sick of it's all about him, and they want instead of it being about him, maybe they want it to be about them and what the candidates are going to do for them.
Yeah.
With the exception of like J.D. Vance in Ohio, if you were running on the culture war, especially if you were talking about, you don't want your kids' balls getting chopped off, like, you were doing well,
Yeah.
If you were running on things like economics and border control, like,
it's not doing
it didn't do anything feeling wise, even though it's true and people are sick about it.
Yeah.
All the polls suggest that people are sick about it. Still, feelings hit home.
But here's the thing. Conservatives at the polls are sick about it. How are you going to get those younger voters? How are you going to get those people that are in the middle? You get them through feeling. All those conservatives obviously know that the economy sucks, that border control is awful. We're letting fentanyl into the country like insane.
What you're saying is you're not targeting a new demographic. You already won the hearts of conservatives who know that.
You don't have to re-win the conservatives. You have to win the people who are in the middle, the people who don't pay attention to politics. And you win them through story, through feeling, how you're going to protect them.
Yep, and the conservatives did lose in the 20 to 40 demographic overwhelmingly.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So that is probably the big, even though we won on like Hispanic vote, we did much better with black voters, I think, right?
Yeah.
But we lost overwhelmingly with 20 to 40 age demographic
Younger generation.
With everyone, younger generation. And that just goes to show that how much indoctrination, the media, celebrities, things like that, entertainment, how much of an impact that has on the younger generations. I mean, especially with social media, they're in front of their faces all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the younger generation doesn't have perspective. Like, it's super common that the older you get, the more conservative-minded your thinking is. And that demographic, majority of them don't have kids. So they don't care about how you're going to protect their children from things. They care about, their best friend who's like a they, them and wants transgender surgery. Or they want to have their abortions. They don't care about children and safety.
Yep.
They live in giant metropolitans that have really high crime. And they're like, whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So weird. This keeps happening.
Yeah, I think the one bright side here is like maybe we're postponing the wave for when it's really important in 2 years.
I sure hope so.
Because the way it looks like to me is that you're gonna see the left double down on their practices that worked this time. Mm-hmm. Like they thought they were gonna lose this time, I think, in some ways, and they didn't. And they're like, our shit is working. Let's keep going with it. So you're going to see a doubling down, especially because Joe Biden, because everyone thinks he's going to run again. And I mean,
do you think they're going to be even more extreme?
Oh, 100%. Going forward for the next 2 years, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that will continue because it looks like the trend is pushing towards people are getting sick of this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. Here's the thing is, even though we didn't get a red wave, it looked like more and more people are voting conservative because they're getting sick of it. That's the way it's looking.
We did have wins throughout the night, and we did have success.
Right. Like you did turn a purple state, what was known as a purple state, into an overwhelmingly red state.
Yeah, completely red.
Yes. So, and that's crazy because it was such a, it's such a big, Florida is such a hot spot for tourism. It's got some big cities there.
Yeah.
It's very surprising. So, yeah, some interesting things about the voting is that we did not capture women very much at all. They ran heavily on abortion. Women did. And it turns out that like 68% of women who had abortions ended up voting Democrat. So they really got to him.
That seems pretty obvious.
Yeah, but I mean, that's 2 out of 3, right? Like that's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's women who had abortions.
Yeah, but it's still, it was high even with women, period. It was high. The women voted overwhelmingly for Democrats.
Well, because women are all about feeling.
No.
I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. I want someone to feel included.
Yeah, whereas men obviously voted more Republican. And here's the other thing. Republican women, or women that were in relationships voted Republican more than...
Oh.
Right. So, like, women that were in healthy relationships with men, like, AKA marriages, voted in a block with their man who voted Republican, so they voted Republican. Single women voted majority for Democrats.
So single women are a problem.
Yes, because even single men voted for Republicans.
Okay, so single ladies, I need you to get on the dating apps. I need you to find yourself a man by 2024.
Yeah, and none of these skeezy Democrat flimsy men.
I want you to go find a strong farm boy from Iowa.
Yeah, who's going to protect you and care about you.
Yeah. And
be chivalrous and open your door.
Yellowstone just came back on Sunday. Find yourself a cowboy.
So yeah, here's a couple stats regarding the gender gap voting. There's a vast gender gap in the vote preferences, and it's grown sharply. Women support Democrats over Republican candidates by 59% to 39%. Now compared with 50 to 42% in the last ABC poll in September. So that's kind of a jump.
It's all the abortion stuff and the trans stuff too.
Yeah.
I think transgender issues have spiked a lot the couple months right before election. So I think that was a huge swing.
She's feminist, yo. What are you going to do about it? I don't know.
Put them in the kitchen.
Yeah. Which is funny. You'd think, like even these feminists, you'd think they'd start to understand that they're just not good at anything.
They're just not good at anything.
No, they're not good at absolutely even. Men have been winning their pageants. Men
Oh my
have been
gosh.
men have been women of the year 2 years in a row over them. Men are just way better at being women than they are. So, like, you'd think that they would understand this by now, that the patriarchy is all-encompassing and you're never going to escape it.
Look, I'm a fan of the patriarchy. I will 100% submit, so I don't do the bills. I don't have any responsibility in our household.
Yes, you
besides
do.
Cooking.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, I said I cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you work at the best job ever.
My place
You know.
belongs in the kitchen in our apartment.
No!
And I'm very okay with that.
That's so funny.
I'm so spoiled. I like the patriarchy.
So, back to it. That's matched by a countervailing result among men. Now, they are more broadly favor Republican candidates, 59% to 36, compared with 52 to 42 then, too. So, women closer to the election shifted to Democrats. Men in the exact same proportions shifted to Republicans close to the election.
Yeah, because men aren't affected by a lot of the agendas that the left is pushing. I mean, abortion doesn't affect them. And
I don't know what you're talking about. Abortion affects them heavily right now because men can be women.
oh my God. Whatever. I'm
Like Dylan
biological.
Mulvaney. Men can be wives.
Don't get me on the Dylan Mulvaney stuff again because I will get very heated. Okay? Biological males, what do you want me to say? Straight cisgender males are not affected by the left agenda because they don't get abortions. They're not getting transgender surgeries and becoming they, them, demon selves,
Demon
dragons,
babies.
all the things.
Like Steven Crowder's Demon Babies.
Oh my gosh. We just saw Crowder and Cory's little Crowder fight.
Yeah, that should 100% been my upvote.
Actually, yeah. I don't know why that wasn't either one of our upvotes.
Yeah, that wasn't neither one of our upvotes. We just saw
Oops.
Crowder live, and it was fantastic.
It was freaking hilarious.
So funny.
Yeah, we're very Crowder-like today.
Yes.
Anywho, the men are right. All hail the patriarchy in my eyes.
Yeah. Biden's approval rating, despite what has gone on across the country for these midterms, is holding strong at 40%.
This is just what I think is so insane. His approval rating's at 40%. This is just like how I don't want to call these people dumb because that's mean. Uneducated.
No, they're fucking stupid.
Okay, I know. I'm trying to be nice. So Biden's approval is 40%, yet you still vote for more debt. You're like, you know what, Biden, he's really sucking ass at his job right now. All these Democrats are wanting to do the same things as him. Yeah, I'm going to still vote them in.
Here's what's really sad about it. Despite how horrible they're doing with everything, people are still voting for him. You know what that means? That means Republicans are horrible at their job.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Republicans are horrible at marketing themselves. If you can't win right now, then you don't deserve to. I'm sorry.
I'm going to agree with you on that. It's not that hard. It's literally don't be dead, but a dead person literally won an election in Pennsylvania. So can't even say that.
Yeah, it's quite crazy.
Yeah.
Some of the numbers right now, you want to go through some?
Yeah. Okay. So we talk general, right? I'm going to break it down for each election we had going on. So we had House, Senate, and then we had gubernatorial races. Learned how to say that word yesterday. So for the House, as of right now, because, Maricopa County and people don't know how to count, we still don't have results in for several states. So the right, the GOP is sitting at 212. Left is sitting at 203. There's still 20 seats left to win. Looks like conservatives will have control of the House. You need 218 to have control of the House. So looks like we'll get there because we'll win. We should win another seat in California. We'll win something in Colorado, Arizona. We're not going to win Alaska, it looks like, for the House, which is really odd because we are winning it there in the Senate. But anywho, looks like conservatives are going to take over the House, which is nice. A win. Again, not as much as we wanted, but still happening. And then for Senate, as of right now, it's 48 to the left, 49 for Republicans. Looks like as of right now, Alaska is going to go to Republicans. So it's going to put us at 51 seats. Liberals will stay at 48. However, Georgia is going off into a runoff election, which means if the Democrats take Georgia, it's going to be 50-51. So we're not going to have the majority. I mean, we technically will have the majority of one seat, but in order to really influence in the Senate, you want to have 3/4 as a majority, and we're clearly not going to hit that.
Yeah, what is a runoff?
So a runoff, I think, is stupid. So runoff elections are held when there's no candidate that wins the required majority of votes. So they have a certain percentage set because it was so close. There's no clear winner in Georgia's eyes. Like, it can't be 50.5% and 49.5%. They're not cool with that. So what's going to happen is the top two candidates, obviously the left and the right candidate, the independents no longer count. So the top two vote getters are going to face each other in a runoff election that's going to be held in 4 weeks after the general election. So we'll see. Georgia, it always is going into a runoff. That happened in the last election too. I want to say there's a little bit of hope for us. However, we were supposed to win Georgia last time, and we epically didn't because Trump went and campaigned in Georgia. And then the Republicans lost. So my hope is that Trump will stay out of the Georgia runoff, let things be. Stacey Abrams did get absolutely destroyed. So there's
Which is surprising because she is the star captain of the universe.
Yeah, you know, she didn't approve of the last election results and was still getting called to the governor of Georgia and whatnot. So thank God she
was
lost.
also called the governor of Georgia 2 weeks before the election even happened by some media outlets. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, they announced it on their website as articles, and then said it was accidental release that they were testing. They were making tests on their website. I'm like, wow, accidental release. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
2 weeks before. Interesting.
She lost. So.
Yeah, thank God too, because she's irritating.
She's super irritating. But maybe we can pull out a win in Georgia. I don't think we will, even though they went red for the governor. I think they're still going to go left for the Senate, especially with how close it is. That means absolutely everyone is going to vote in the runoff. So people who didn't vote on the left last time are definitely going to vote in runoff. And same with Republicans.
Right.
They voted this time because they knew it meant so much to them. They're going to vote again. I think left's going to come out on top on that one. What was shocking is the left won Arizona and Nevada, which everyone just assumed was going to go red for Senate. As I mentioned, Republicans are going to take Alaska, and then we have Georgia. So we'll find Republicans are probably going to win Alaska.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Republicans will probably win Alaska. So that's just the general numbers for House and Senate. At least we won enough seats to prevent the lefties from doing anything crazy for the next 2 years. So that is a positive.
That's the other thing. Yeah. And that's another.
We're stopping what they're doing.
Which bodes well for the economy, too. Usually when you're 50-50 on these types of things, the economy is bolstered because no significant changes are coming by either party. So that there's going to be some sort of stability, at least for a couple years, which bodes well. That's why you saw the S&P rise to 4,000 again.
Yeah.
It was like a 7% gain in less than 48 hours. It's quite crazy. We have much further. It's short lived. It's one of those it's a bear trap where you'll see a slight pump and then it'll start going down again because the Fed is going to keep raising interest rates until inflation is fixed, and then they will keep raising those interest rates until they break the economy. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So probably for the next year.
At least this way, the left can't break the economy more.
No, the Fed's gonna keep raising interest rates.
Well, no, the Fed, but I'm saying the left in the House and Senate, they can't pass any crazy Inflation Reduction Acts anymore.
Right.
Anything
They can't blow any more of our money.
All that's going
kind
to
of
get
stuff.
stalled.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about Pennsylvania.
Fetterman versus Oz.
Yeah.
It was like the worst race ever.
It was terrible. The fact that Fetterman is a stroke patient and couldn't even form full sentences beat Oz is just like irritating.
He is he's not he's unfit to hold office personally.
Clearly.
But they're allowing him to run, and he was checked his health wise with his doctor 6 months ago, and he was
right before his stroke.
Right before, and they said he was good to go, but he hasn't been checked since. So his condition could be worsening. He obviously can't function. He can't complete sentences. He forgets what he's saying.
Yeah.
He says the wrong things. It's something to do with his he knows what he wants to say, but his brain can't communicate through his mouth what he wants to say. Like there's no
Can't get
connection
it
there.
out.
Right.
Yeah.
Either way, it's not good. He ran on releasing inmates from prison.
Violent criminals.
Violent criminals.
Like, not just like, oh, you had a weed possession. Violent criminals. He wanted to, he won. So I guess he's going to end up releasing inmates from prison that are violent criminals.
Yes. So if you're in Pennsylvania, get out.
Run.
It's not like
Run
Oz
away.
was a good candidate either. I don't like Oz.
I'm not an Oz fan.
TV personality, I'm not really into it.
No, his platform just sucked. His platform was all about both sides are trash. Literally, his campaign was like, both parties are terrible. They're all politicians. They all just care about staying in office. They don't really care about you. So he wasn't getting backing from his own apparently side because he called them all like swamp monsters. And then he talked about, you know how he wanted to modernize healthcare, make it more affordable and accessible. And that was it. That was literally all he ran on.
Yeah.
Was
I think the thing is like, here's one thing. It's fine if you think they're all swamp monsters, but you have to win first.
Yeah.
And then you can talk about how everyone isn't, you know.
You can't villainize the people you need support from.
Trump did that pretty well though. When he called them all swamp monsters, I mean, he did that too, even in his own party, and was able to garner the vote. But he was a very unique exception.
I think, yeah, Trump's the exception. And Oz thought, oh, I'm a TV personality. I can do the exact same thing. And then he just like, he lost to a stroke patient. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like,
I don't
that's
know.
Embarrassing.
Like, we have a soundbite here that you can listen to. I mean, but this is frankly just unacceptable for someone to run. I mean, it's quite funny, but like it leaves you speechless. It's like looking at Joe Biden 2.0, except a Bond villain. He looks like
he looks like a gangster.
he looks like fucking Jaws from Bond. Yeah. Just a bald version of Jaws. Here you go.
Mr. Fetterman, I do have a specific question, which you can continue on this topic, but you have made two conflicting statements regarding fracking. In a 2018 interview, you said, quote, I don't support fracking at all. I never have. But earlier this month, you told an interviewer, quote, I support fracking. I support the energy independence that we should have here in the United States. So, Mr. Fetterman, please explain your changing position. 60 seconds.
I've always supported fracking, and I always believe that independence with our energy is critical, and we can't be held, ransom to somebody like Russia. I've always believed that energy independence is critical, and I've always believed that, and I do support fracking. I've never taken any money from their industry, but I support how critical it is that we produce our own energy and create energy independence.
I must correct the record.
Just a second, Mr. Oz. I do want to clarify something. You're saying tonight that you support fracking, that you've always supported fracking, but there is that 2018 interview that you said, quote, I don't support fracking at all. So how do you square the two?
I do support fracking, and I support fracking, and I stand, and I do support fracking.
And that's Fetterman.
Yeah. He is interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. He's a little creepy too. He looks like I
is
told
very
you before,
creepy.
the turtle man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he, is worse than Joe Biden and still run in Pennsylvania. Guess who also won in Pennsylvania? Won a House seat. A dead representative.
Yep.
Yeah. Representative was on the ballot for re-election. He had unfortunately passed away. And they didn't take him off the ballot. And he won his re-election. Dead.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. When dead people are winning you in elections, the man wasn't campaigning because he was passed. You won against a person who was unalived, and you still lost.
Yeah, that's pretty horrible.
So, yikes.
Some gubernatorial races. Some more.
Arizona. Yeah. So, Carrie Lake and Katie Hobbs. I personally like Carrie Lake. I've seen a couple interviews she's done. As of right now, it's Arizona. So, still no answer. Maybe we'll get one in, by January. As of right now, it's Carrie Lake is at 49.2%, and then Katie Hobbs is sitting at 50.8%.
Yeah, and personally, I don't know how Katie is winning this because she's such a pansy. Wouldn't debate with Carrie at all in the last month.
They didn't have any debates.
Yeah. I'm just like, what are you doing? She pulled a Joe Biden. Like, hey, let's lock myself in a basement and not talk to anyone. That's how they feel like they're going to win.
Oh, wow.
It's like, I can't speak on the issues against this person in a debate. I will lose. Can't talk to them. Plus, she looks like a 12-year-old girl. So why the hell did you Democrats vote her through? Like, what is wrong with you? It's like if freaking Greta Thunberg decided to run in Arizona. That's what it is.
That's
Why
hilarious.
did you vote for her through? It's so irritating.
Yeah.
And Carrie's so dope, too.
It's a shame. Yeah, I really like Carrie. I think she's very similar. She reminds me of a female DeSantis. I think she'd be able to do a lot if she got into Arizona.
Yeah, I think she really cares, too. Like, she comes off really genuine. That's the thing about, like, it's like when these people speak to issues and they're genuine, you can feel it.
Yeah. Definitely. So we'll see about what happens in Arizona. The good news is Brian Kemp beat Stacey Abrams in Georgia. Thank God.
Yep, 53.4% to Stacey Abrams' 45.8%. So that's a 7-point difference?
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, so that's good because she was horrible. So I'm glad she lost.
That's just so fantastic.
Some other runs, we had Ron Johnson in Wisconsin. We had some Wisconsin stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Split state. So Ron Johnson won his Senate seat again. And then Tony Evers, who was the Democrat governor up for re-election, he won, which is interesting because that means Wisconsin was a split state. So people were voting not down ballot like we expected them to. People were voting cross ballot. So they voted Ron for Senate, Republican, and then still voted for Evers to be their governor.
Yeah. That's so weird. Yeah.
I find it surprising, but when you look at the map for Wisconsin, you don't, because the only places that are blue is Milwaukee and Madison for the entire state. Oh,
Yeah.
and Eau Claire
Yeah.
for governor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's like the large cities overpowered. Even all of Green Bay, which Green Bay is usually like kind of purple because all the different colleges there.
Yeah.
Will flip back and forth. That whole part was red. It was literally Milwaukee, Madison, Eau Claire.
Yeah.
But I think Tim Michaels, again, was just another victim of really bad marketing and not going with a story. He had, he wanted to drain the Madison swamp. He was going to back the blue. And then one of his biggest parts was parents in education, which Evers is notorious for his education stuff and being really lefty on all of it. So again, he just couldn't win messaging wise. He wanted to fix the economy. He was trying to use the same language as Trump, like drain the swamp, You're not Trump. You can't take Trump's messaging and duplicate it. It doesn't work.
Here's the thing. Trump's really good at branding.
Yeah.
Don't try to take his spotlight. You won't win.
No.
Just let him do his thing and come up with your own thing.
Yeah. Trump was authentic in how he spoke. That's what made him unique, and that's why it worked for him. You copying him takes out the authenticity.
Right.
You can't be a discount Donald Trump.
Yeah,
It just,
no,
it's not happening.
He's not working. He's not. His people don't like him right now as it is, and then you get a discount version of him.
Like, it's not.
No, it's not gonna work.
It's not a thing.
It's not gonna work. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yep.
Evers, again, he focused huge on children's education. He talked so much about abortion. He had the follow through. He had the marketing behind him.
Yeah, we had some pretty good successes though.
We did. Our wonderful Governor Bill Lee got reelected for Tennessee.
Yep, but that, I mean, we knew that was happening. I mean,
It's pretty obvious.
yeah, it's real. We got a strong freaking fortress here in Tennessee. So
I'm so glad that we live in a red state.
I'm so glad we live in Tennessee, even compared to places like Florida. Like I love what they're doing down there, but like I just love Tennessee.
Me too.
If like order of importance as far as living, I would choose to live in Tennessee first, then Florida, then Texas. That's how I would categorize it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
If I had to go somewhere else than other than
If you had
Tennessee,
to.
that's
Yeah.
how I would do it.
But no, Tennessee is just so great.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
We were all on the same page. We knew what we needed to do.
Yep, we got to keep these leftists at bay, and that's what we did.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Florida. Florida went completely red for the first time.
Yeah, Florida used to be a relatively purple state, right? Goes
Yeah.
back and forth. DeSantis changed that. It is now completely red and overwhelmingly red. People are down with
Republicans
this.
won every single seat across the entire state.
Yes, I think, and also DeSantis running against Charlie Crist. Yeah, Crist didn't have a really good message, and like it was kind of like just too many people like DeSantis and what he's been doing down there, especially with education. He had a really strong message, definitely against the chopping of children's balls off. So like people really resonate with that.
You just really like saying that.
I think it's funny.
Interesting.
But yeah, people are not down with their kids getting their genitalia mutilated. So yeah, he won. I had a discussion with someone the other day about the only reason DeSantis won was gerrymandering. So that's not actually how gerrymandering works. Gerrymandering's you can't gerrymander 1.7 million votes, and that's how much he won by. So he won by 20 points. Okay, he won literally all but 3 districts in the entire state of Florida.
Yeah.
I don't care what gerrymandering you do. There's no amount that is going to make up that difference.
No. And also, when Republicans take every seat in the entire state, you're telling me every single... Like, there's no way there's gerrymandering. If you had gerrymandering, you'd see, like, really big divides between, like, 2 different counties. And there wasn't, because Republicans won everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not a thing.
Yep. So that was really, really cool. J.D. Vance in Ohio won pretty good, too. I think he was, like, 4 or 5 point lead. Mm-hmm. He had a pretty strong hold, but I mean, I think most people knew that Ohio was going to swing that way.
Yeah.
Plus, I think also his book helped. I
think his book and movie helped him a lot.
Oh yeah. I mean, because he's one of those people, very logical, but yeah, it definitely helped. His backstory, people knowing about him, definitely helped.
Yeah. He's also in a biracial relationship. He's a family man.
Yep.
He's got a lot going for him, like.
Yeah, talking lots of freedom.
Stereotyping wise.
That's the other thing that kind of is crazy about the left is how like the right just wants you to have freedom and the left doesn't want freedom. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like that's what we run on virtually is less freedom versus more freedom. And they're down, they need like, we need more protection, we need less freedoms, that's basically what it is. But they disguise it as freedom.
Yeah.
They're like, women's right to choose, but like, is it actually freedom? You know?
I would say the only freedom they're like really for is pro-choice, but that you're taking away the freedoms of a child. So
you're killing them.
That's really counterproductive.
Yep. Flip some seats in New York.
Yeah, which was surprising.
Yeah, was in a big way. Lee Zeldin ran a really, really, really good campaign.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was even close to Kerry Hochul in New York was outstanding. And I think that's why you saw the other races do really well in New York.
Yeah.
Is because of Lee Zeldin.
I would also say that countrywide, it was really, even though it wasn't the red wave we're all expecting, the fact that each race was so incredibly close, besides Florida, that was really nice to see that people in the middle are going more conservative. Like, they're not fully there yet, but they are waking up to what's going on. So I have a very good feeling for 2024.
That's why we got 2 more years, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully DeSantis runs.
Some other things that were kind of interesting is because you're seeing states go like more and more partisan as the years go on because of tribalism right now. So people are moving to the places that align with their values right now.
Yeah.
Which means that the voters in those states who stay are solidifying their votes. So like California will stay more red now because people are leaving California who would have voted Republican because
You mean we'll stay more blue?
we'll stay more blue in California because red voters will move to places like Tennessee and Florida, which is what's happening, obviously. Same thing with New York. The thing is, I don't see a way in which things don't start turning up red because I don't think you have enough strongholds of cities to maintain the majority. I think you got New York, maybe a little bit up towards the northeast, some of those, but in California, but that's kind of it. The rest, I think too many people are moving away from those places and making the vote closer in states that wouldn't have before.
Yeah. I think
they're moving to Tennessee and Florida a lot, which is even making even more solid. Yeah, I don't know. I think it bodes good for Republicans in the future.
I think COVID was a huge reason of why this is happening. Because our last election was during COVID. You know, like the early voting that was taking place and freaking wearing masks into the voting stations and absentee voting. Like, when we were voting for the president, we were still in the lockdown. And a lot of people, because of COVID, moved out of those large metropolises into more rural areas because they were locked down and they couldn't do what they wanted. So they moved someplace that gave them a little bit more freedom if it was in their same state. Or a lot of people just completely moved states to a state that allowed their people to be free. So I think that was a huge, huge, huge contributor as to why we're seeing this. Because if you look at the House map, it's literally New Mexico, Vegas, the coast, and then both coasts.
The rest is red.
Everything else is red. Oh, you've got Denver in there. That's a pretty big spread. But other than that, besides the coast and New Mexico and Vegas, it's all red. Because they're just moving more rural.
Yep.
People are getting out of cities. They don't like being stacked on top of each other
it used to
anymore.
be where people were moving to the city. Right now, it's less cities. People are moving out of cities.
Yeah.
Yep. Just because of all the shit. It's like you get less freedoms if you go to the city because these people want control over your lives. When it gets back to everyone having freedoms, people will move back to cities.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, crime and all of that.
Closing thoughts?
I'm optimistic for 2024. I think we did do some good.
2024 is going to be a beast of a year on multiple fronts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be freaking awesome.
It's going to be insane.
Yep. Voting's going to be awesome because it will go. I'm pretty positive. If it goes blue again, it'll blow my little mind, but
I really don't think so.
I don't think so. I really don't. I think people are. I mean, what do? You have Joe Biden run against someone for the primary. Like, what do you do? Is he gonna
Joe Biden running?
Like,
again.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you have a choice. Like at this point,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think I think you could put a dead person up and they would win versus Joe Biden. So,
well, people should be announcing if they're running pretty soon.
well, Trump's gonna announce, and that's a whole different story.
You think Trump is announcing?
Oh yeah, in a few days.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big announcement coming. He said himself.
When did he say that?
A few days ago, a week ago.
I don't want Trump to run.
Me neither.
I want DeSantis to run and epically destroy.
Me too.
DeSantis, Tulsi, 2024.
Yes, that would be awesome. That'd be
want
sick.
it.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I've been talking about this ticket now for over a
DeSantis,
year.
DeSantis Tulsi. Yeah, that'd
Yes.
be sick. That'd be sick. He's got the woman vote in there. He's got, DeSantis, no woke shit going on. It'd be sick.
You got the people in the middle.
Yep. You got the independents there. Yeah, it'd be good.
Tulsi's former military.
Yep, former Democrat. You got that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Reformed Democrat.
Yep. That's a winner right there.
I know.
Strongest messaging ever.
Literally.
You do not lose if they run. Like, you do not lose.
No.
Yeah.
I want them to run together.
Yeah.
As always, we have our bi-weekly show uploads on Wednesdays. Next episode is Season 3, Episode 24 on November 30th for our monthly scoop.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Strive Nation podcast with your hosts, Cory, Estreen, and Taylor Huff.
Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Strive Nation Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Join us for our next episode in 2 weeks. And remember, when the world is upside down, Strive Nation is right side up for you guys. Have a good one.